Policy, decision and goal. A policy originates from decision, and decision is taken in line with goal. Many a time the terms like political goal, decision and policy are used interchangeably. But they do not mean the same. In real life, individuals, organizations and governments are constantly taking decisions. But all the decisions that are taken cannot be categorized as the matters of policy. The essence of decision-making lies in the fact that one has to make a choice from multiple alternatives available to him. In order to take a decision, there must be more than one course of action. Thus, a decision is the act of making a choice. The entire act of decision-making has been developed on the conditions that can improve this activity of finding multiple choices. Policy, decision and goal. Welfare state. In India, the policies are concerned with the general welfare and development of the society, as the nation is a welfare state. The government's efforts like creation of education and employment opportunities, national defense, economic progress and stabilization, law and order issues etc. are the result of substantive policy formulation. Regulatory policies. Regulatory policies are concerned with regulation of national and foreign trade, business, safety measures, public utilities, etc. This type of regulatory policies is laid down by independent organizations that work on behalf of the government. Distributive policies. Some policies are called distributive policies, which are meant for specific segments of society. It can be in the area of public distribution to people below poverty line, BPL, public welfare, health services, etc. These mainly include all public assistance and welfare programs. Process of liberalization. The process of liberalization was a major policy shift in India's economic journey. Liberalization made the rules of foreign trade simpler. Foreign exchange-related rules were simplified. It became easier for Indian corporate houses to do business abroad. Privatization. Mammoth privatization program. India initiated its mammoth privatization program in 1991 as a part of its policy stance to usher in macroeconomic stabilization and structural reform effort to cope with stagnation, slow growth in an extremely difficult economic condition. At that time, the rate of inflation was very high and foreign exchange reserves declined to a dangerously low level. Objectives of privatization. There was a growing domestic consensus that state-owned enterprises were not generating adequate returns and were suffering from low efficiency, and the government expected that privatization of these enterprises would lead to better outcomes. In this context, the two main objectives of privatization in India were to raise revenues to ease the fiscal crunch, and to improve the profitability and efficiency of the divested enterprises. National Budget. In the 1990s, the Government of India's national budget had huge fiscal deficits and negative balance of payments in trade. This boosted the government's desire and necessity to extract and release the massive investments made in the state-owned enterprises, and this led to privatization in India. Privatization. Privatization as a strategy. Privatization as a strategy had been experimented in the Western world a decade earlier than that experimented in India. Privatization refers to a managerial approach of changing the ownership structure of one or more government-owned institutions. Privatization can be advantageous in terms of the higher flexibility and scope of innovation. Privatization effort was not easy. In the Indian context, privatization effort was not easy. There were hardly any takers for loss-making public sector industries. On the other hand, there had been many takers for surplus-making industries like oil drilling and refinery companies, Steel Authority of India Limited, etc. Government decided to privatize the loss-making companies fully and the profit-making ones and banks partially. Enhance market potencies. Privatization helps in a big way to enhance market potencies by enhancing efficiency, quality and competitiveness. Privatization is an essentially effective tool for rapid restructuring and reforming the public sector enterprises. In India, also witnessed in other nations, public sector entities remained inefficient as far as profitability and quality is concerned. Privatization may be of conceptualized. Delegation. Government keeps hold of responsibility and private enterprise handles fully or partly the delivery of product and services. There is active involvement by government. Delegation may happen through contract, franchise, grant, etc. Divestment. Government surrenders partial ownership and responsibility and sells the majority stake to one or more private entities in course of time. Displacement. The private enterprise expands and gradually displaces the government entity. Deregulation facilitates privatization if it enables private sector to challenge a government monopoly. The government monopoly through BSNL and MTNL has been displaced by the private sector. Disinvestment. Selling a portion of ownership, stake, in a public enterprise to private parties. Foreign direct investment in India. Foreign direct investment. Foreign direct investment plays a very important role in the process of development of a nation. In most of the cases, capital sourced for domestic sources remain inadequate for the purpose of overall development of the nation. Foreign capital is seen as an harbinger of growth. Foreign fund flow. Globalization creates a wide market of goods and services. At the same time, foreign funds flow in an economy to be invested in various industries. Foreign funding in good sense creates employment as well as demand. For a steady flow in foreign funds, liberalization of economy is required. Flow of capital investment. Foreign direct investment may be described as a flow of capital investment to an enterprise in a nation by another enterprise located in a different nation by capturing a majority stake in ownership in a company in the target country or by expanding operations of an existing business in that country. Foreign direct investment in India. Permission for FDI. Permission for foreign direct investment is not uniform for all sectors. Some sectors are opened up for 100% and in some sectors, it is allowed only up to 26%, 49% or 51%. Bone of contention. Foreign direct investment has always remained a bone of contention, and FDI in multi-brand retail, defense etc., are classic examples. It's often felt that areas like media and defense could compromise on India's security interest and hence no FDI should be permitted. Prohibited sectors for FDI. There are a few sectors where FDI is prohibited under both the government route as well as the automatic route. They are atomic energy, lottery business, gambling and betting, business of chit fund, Nidhi company, agricultural and plantations activities, housing and real estate business, trading in transferable development rights, manufacture of tobacco or its substitutes.